What do Andrew Tate, Donald Trump Jr. and Russell Brand all have in common? All three are part of a new wave of influencers who are ditching traditional social media platforms like Twitter and YouTube in the hopes of gaining more freedom to express their views.
We have been officially censored by YouTube. They took down one of our videos for misinformation.
Specifically, they all fled to Rumble, an alternative social media platform whose mission is to provide a space free from cancel culture.
I'm on Rumble because it's one of the few platforms that's out there that hasn't censored people.
Like many other alternative social media platforms, it's supposed to be a place where users can say whatever they want without having to worry about being kicked off or censored. But what do these platforms really offer? Who's really using them? And who are the secret corporations and powerful individuals who are profiting from them? To answer these questions, I decided it was time for a deep dive into Rumble. Rumble is supposed to be a freer version of YouTube. It's YouTube with less ads, less censorship, and a less invasive algorithm. It's also one of the most popular havens for those who have been kicked off other social media platforms, like Andrew Tate. Now, even before being accused of human trafficking and sexual assault, Tate was well known for his offensive and often graphic statements about women.
I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man, that's his woman.
He gained a massive following on all social media platforms, until practically overnight, he was banned by all of them.
So why did Andrew Tate get banned?
Nobody told me, whether it was YouTube that banned me or Meta that banned me. They banned me instantly and forever without any kind of correspondence.
So, having been cancelled by all major social media platforms, Tate turned to Rumble. But what's interesting is the lengths that Rumble went to in order to attract Andrew Tate. They reportedly paid him $9 million to get him onto their site. But he's not the only one to have been offered mega bucks to use their services. Don Jr. also signed a 7-figure deal to host his talk show on the platform. Even Joe Rogan was apparently approached with an eye-watering $100 million offer to switch his podcast from Spotify to Rumble.
Yeah, they offered me $100 million.
Which begs the question, who's funding this? How can they afford to pay so much money when their view counts are tiny in comparison to YouTube? Well, to answer that question, I had to follow the money. Since 2013, Rumble founder Chris Pavlovski has worked hard to get Rumble off the ground. He's managed to get the support and investment of some very, very wealthy conservative venture capitalists. These include billionaire co-founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, the Republican senator, and former Trump advisor Darren Blanton. Now, while the size of each of their investments is secret and not publicly disclosed, according to Rumble's latest quarterly public disclosures, they're sitting on cash and cash equivalent reserves of over $350 million. That means they're very well funded. And after the company went public in September 2022, Rumble now trades on the Nasdaq, valued at just over $3 billion.
Trading opens on the conservative Peter Thiel-backed alternative to YouTube. Yeah, the deal for Rumble, a new streaming service that fights cancel culture. Not my quote, theirs.
That seems like a hefty valuation for a company that lost $7.8 million on $11 million of revenue. With that being said, the reason for that valuation is to do with how quickly the site is growing. You see, in 2020, Rumble had just 1.6 million monthly users. Fast forward just 2 years, and their growth has been eye-watering. As of 2022, they have 71 million monthly active users. So who's using the site? Well, alongside the likes of Andrew Tate, you'll find a lot of channels on Rumble related to conservative politics, which may not come as a surprise, since a lot of people see Rumble as a place built for far-right views. Now, the most popular channel on Rumble belongs to Fox News host Dan Bongino. He has about 2.5 million followers.
Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts.
facts.
And sure, while political content is popular, for example Don Jr.'s channel, which has about 1 million followers, it's too simplistic to say it's a right-wing media company. That's just lazy journalism. Scratch a little deeper and you'll see that there's something more that's drawing people to the platform, and it doesn't have to do with politics. If you look at videos like these from two of the bigger channels on Rumble, you can see that they have very little to do with politics. And sure, some may argue that the far right has been associated with conspiracy theories in general, but on Rumble, left-wing channels like Russell Brand draw just as much viewership as right-wing channels. So, with that in mind, it seems like a large part of Rumble's appeal isn't so much the politics, but rather because it's a place where people feel they can get the truth, whatever that means for them individually.
We've seen what happens on the other platforms. You know, every one of you knows someone that's been in Facebook jail, oftentimes for telling the truth. Probably most of the time.
There's a growing sense from both the left wing and the right wing that mainstream media can't be trusted.
Why are big media organisations not censored for misinformation in the same way? Is it because YouTube are part of the mainstream media now? So we're asking, is there one standard for independent news broadcasters like us on our channel, and a different standard for what we would call the mainstream media?
The most popular creators on Rumble are capitalizing on this, and that attraction seems to be quite strong, judging by the number of followers who are joining Rumble every year. 71 million active monthly users is of course a far cry from YouTube's 2 billion monthly users, but there can be no doubting that Rumble is growing fast. Still, looking just at the number of users doesn't answer another important question, which is whether or not Rumble is going to be sustainable. After all, rapid growth is great and all, but at some point the company will need to make money.
Immense opportunity here to monetize that audience, and that's one of the things I really want to do.
Unfortunately for Rumble, the large number of users flocking to the site doesn't always translate into more engagement, which is really all that matters to advertisers. If we take Don Jr. for example, at just over 1 million followers, his videos rarely get more than 10,000 views. That's a fraction of his total audience. Now, Rumble is betting big that offering big deals to the likes of Don Jr. or Andrew Tate will help bring their established audience onto the Rumble site. That strategy seems to be working, but for the time being at least, it's losing them money, which is why they're also trying to attract creators in another way. Rather than offering big lucrative deals for big influencers, they're trying to attract smaller creators by offering them the opportunity to earn more than they're earning on YouTube.
In today's video, I'm going to show you an updated way how you can make anywhere between $100 and $800 a day by automating your own Rumble short videos on the platform itself.
So Rumble offers their creators more ways to monetize their videos than YouTube do. One of the ways they do this is by paying their creators for controversial content. Now on YouTube, controversial videos are likely to be demonetized. That's not a problem that Rumble users face, but it goes beyond that. You see, whereas payment processors like PayPal or Stripe also have strict policies, Rumble relies on a third-party payment processing company called Parallel Economy, which shares the same free speech ethos that Rumble promotes. Parallel Economy was actually set up by Dan Bongino, and he's doing very well from it, but it allows Rumble users to rest easy knowing that they won't be denied access to payments because of their controversial content. Now, another incentive that Rumble are using to attract more creators is to offer them a higher revenue split than YouTube does. YouTube pays its creators between 45 to 55% of ad revenue. Rumble pays 60%. But with all of this being said, there is one question that's still lingering. Is Rumble really the free speech haven that it claims to be?
As a child in Canada, I always admired America and the First Amendment.
Well, there can be no doubting that that is its mission. In fact, the company recently issued a federal suit against New York Attorney General Latte James for her New York hate speech law that they say would limit disfavored speech. According to the law, platforms would be responsible for policing their users and would have to pay a daily fine of $1,000 for every post that's shown to be hateful. Rumble calls the law vague and unconstitutional and argues that it's not fair to make online platforms liable for any content that's deemed hateful. Rumble has clearly put its money where its mouth is by spending large amounts of money trying to bring unique voices to its platform. It sought those voices on both the left and the right of the political spectrum. The only thing that matters to Rumble seems to be that the content is something you can't find on cable networks or traditional social media. Fresh, authentic voices.
We have a pretty good hold on the politics, so we're really looking to get into music, we're really looking to get into gaming. We really want to diversify into all these different categories of content.
In that sense, Rumble seems to be staying true to its principles. For anyone who's tired of the establishment dictating what's true and what's not, Rumble provides a clear answer. And for many people, that kind of digital liberty is exactly what they're looking for. That's a trend that shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon.